ladies and gentlemen, we're going to discuss AEW Dynamite. We're also going to rewind Dynasty and what a pay-per-view it was. We've got all of that to do. Plus, we got a heartbreaking story about Cameron Grimes. We're going to talk about that. So we have a massive show. It's a big show. And you welcome to Thursday night. Welcome to the Planet Experience and welcome to the Wrestling Experience. Stand by. The Wrestling Experience is powered by the Hardcore Sport.
Wake up, no sunlight, so cold, sleep is nice, so tired, my eyes fight, they just wanna close back up tight, get up, hoodie on, hard work at the crack of dawn, this life ain't for the weak ones, no, this life pure only for the strong, feeling slow, shake it off, don't got time for negative thoughts, red sight, got the dot, shoot my shot, I want the top, never lost, got my plot, know my story, I know my boss, I will fight against the clock, time's a limited gift from God. One day I will have my victory, crush all my enemies so viciously, work so hard my hands are blistering, and they will carve my name in history.
Now with the hottest show in the universe, The Wrestling Experience, with your host Joe Cole.
Acknowledge me.
Coming at you with all the dope shit, freshest WWE content, and also the AEW. You are now watching The Experience, The Wrestling Experience. Now with your host Joe Cole.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Planet Experience. But I'm not here alone, ladies and gentlemen. No, ladies and gentlemen. I want to introduce you all to the newest member of the Hardcore Sports. His name is No Dirt Sheets, ladies and gentlemen. London is here. He's sitting in for Sarah ladies and gentlemen. Sarah is out sick, and we hope Sarah gets well. But ladies and gentlemen, let's bring London on the screen. Let's add him to the screen.
What's going on?
London, how are you tonight?
All right, how are you, Earl? What's going on, man?
Nothing much, man. This is a first. Welcome to the Hardcore Sports.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you. It's great to have you aboard. As I said, ladies and gentlemen, my co-pilot, my co-host Sarah is out sick, ladies and gentlemen. She is ill, and I hope that she gets better very soon, and then she'll be back with us very shortly. But tonight, London, we're going to talk about Dynamite first. And what did you make of Dynamite last night? What did you think of the whole show and the build for it?
I had mixed feelings about the show, but I did enjoy the ending. I watched it over after last night. So like I thought about it afterwards, and you know what I mean, I think it was a good show. I don't know. I just like it. There's so many different emotions that I pulled from it last night. Like, you know what I mean? Did Tony Khan write himself off the show? You know what I'm saying? Did his dad come and collect him so that way he could go and do his thing? You know what I'm saying? And get back to work.
I don't know. I don't know what to think. I really don't know what to think. It reminded me of a little bit of a Stone Cold Vince McMahon kind of vibe.
Yeah.
That's what I got out of it last night when I was watching it. And yeah, we're gonna discuss that. We're gonna discuss the face to face. But let's just talk about this for a second. Let's talk about the first match. Kyle Fletcher took on Swerve Strickland. The match was fine. The match was all right. I had no issues with the match whatsoever. The only thing that I don't understand is this elimination for the title and all of that. I don't get that. I don't understand that. I don't understand why they keep booking these matches when you know he's not going to be the number one contender. So I don't understand why they do these number one contender matches because I mean now next week we're gonna find out who Swerve Strickland's opponent is gonna be a double or nothing. So um what did you thought of the match itself?
I thought the match was pretty good. Definitely, it gave Kyle Fletcher a chance to, I guess, fight somebody that was on that in that main event level. Because I think Kyle Fletcher has main event potential at some point as he keeps growing as a wrestler. Definitely, I loved him in Aussie Open. I've only seen one person ever win one of these eliminator tournaments, like since that I've watched. What's his name? It's the it's the cowboy guy. What's his name? I don't know why I can't remember his name right now. Not Willie Mack. What's the guy's name that I can't remember his name. They brung him up from he was on Ring of Honor.
You mean Hangman Adam Page?
Not Adam Page, the other one, the black guy. I don't know why I can't remember his name, but he won one, I think, against Moxley, maybe, and then he had to fight him again the next week, and then he lost. So, you know what I mean? Like, it's kind of one of those things where I don't understand why they have them. WWE has them every blue moon as well, but I don't know. I think that the eliminators are kind of boring to me. I mean, if you're just going to put somebody up on a match, just make it just let them fight. That's it.
Right. I'm going to agree with your assessment. I'm going to go to the chat just 1 second, and we'll see who's on the chat tonight. Daniel Verita Sports, how are you? Thank you so much. Hit the like button. Thank you. Robert, how are you? Thank you so much for your time and energy.
What up, RB?
Thank you so much. And hello, how are you? Thank you so much for your chat.
Ballet.
Dancer, New Jersey, thank you so much. And it's okay. Willett, thank you so much. Robert, thank you so much. Mac the Giants fan, he's got the roundup. Mac the Giants fan is in the building. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. And he said it's nice to meet you. Said it's nice to. And thank you so much. William, how are you? Thank you so much. Much love and respect. Thank you so much, William. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you for your kind words. Mitch Kosky. Mitch Kosky's in the building. Thank you, Mitch,
What's going on, Mitch?
for your time and building energy. William, thank you so much. Love the show. Thank you so much. Oh, all these emojis. Thank you so much, William. Major salute. Thank you, William. Thank you. And boy, thank you. So
Thank
everybody
you,
say
that's what I was talking about.
yeah, Ballet, thank you. Brian Keith. Yes, thank you, brother. Thank you. Brian Keith. Yeah, he's a good wrestler too.
He's
a good wrestler. Yeah, he's good at what he does. Okay, so so getting back to the match itself, like I said, the match was fine. Great chemistry, great nuance in the match. I loved it.
Mm-hmm.
I loved it. Let me ask you something. On an entertainment level, on a scale of one, because we do this here on my show.
Okay.
On a scale of 1 to 10 in the entertainment level, what do you give this match?
You said out of 1 to 10, I'll give it an 8, just because I am a Kyle Fletcher fan, and I definitely am a Swerve fan. Them fighting at the beginning of, to open it up, I like it. It gives it that main, you kind of got a double main event right at the beginning of Dynamite, to start it off. Like, I always count those. Whenever you got the champion fight in the beginning, you get a main event. So it's kind of like they opened their show. They wanted to open it up real big, and it was at Daily's Place. So I give it an 8 out of 10 just to open the show up.
Yeah, I'm going to give it the same reading. I'm going to give it an 8 too. Like I said, the match was fine. I had no issues with the match whatsoever. Swerve Strickland just won the title on Sunday night. We're going to discuss that later on. And it was great. It was great for what it was. All right. So we're on that page, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Let me ask you something. What did you make of the confrontation between Mercedes Moné Mercedes Moné and Willow Nightingale?
I'm looking forward to it considering their first match. I want to see Mercedes back in the ring. I think a lot of definitely a lot of the people that's over, like me and Tati stream a lot together, so it's kind of like
Right.
a lot of the people where we were all thinking like, you know what, Tony Khan got more ring time than Mercedes has in the ring so far. So we was like, yeah, like Mercedes.
Yeah, I'm not gonna go there.
No, I mean, I love Mercedes Moné. She is, we know what she can do in the ring. I'm just hoping that
Right.
she's healed. I'm hoping that she's ready to step in the ring. Honestly, I've come in the last year since she's been gone. Like, Willow is one of my favorite women wrestlers right now. Her winning the championship is great, is awesome. So looking at their face off last night, I'm trying to figure out what's going on. I'm trying to figure out, is there going to be a heel turn coming between Chris Statlander? Like, I don't know what's going on yet. So it's kind of like, I like the mystery of it all right now of what's going on, especially with her trying to figure out what happened with the attack.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure that out too. I'm trying to think of what's in the witch's brew in the AEW cauldron, as I like to call it. Because I want to know exactly what is being transpired here.
Okay.
I want to ask you another question.
Okay.
Eric Bischoff, as you know, Eric Bitter Bischoff, as I like to call him. Bischoff says that Mercedes Moné is fucking boring. That's what his comments.
I won't go there with them. Like, only reason I watch Bischoff because of business. You know what I mean? Like, I'll get this out the way real quick. I come from working with millionaires, so I understand where he comes from with the way that he thinks, right? Because I worked with him in music. But with her being boring, I'm not gonna say that. Last night she turned it up and she gave me the Mercedes that I was looking for the whole time. Like the Mercedes from the week before that was on the ground crying. That's not the Mercedes I know. The Mercedes that slapped Willow was the Mercedes that I know.
Right.
You know what I mean? So she's starting to move in that direction. I want to heal Mercedes out of this situation. Honestly, just personally, I know that she's coming for it, but her to say that she's boring is far from the truth. I think maybe they're learning how to present her. It's a certain kind of presentation that Mercedes has always had with the light shined on her. So once they learn that and they get used to each other and everybody gets comfortable with each other, I think we'll see the Mercedes that we used to seeing. She's probably going to have to take a little more control in that situation too.
Yeah. Walter, how are you? Thank you so much for your time and energy. Let me just say something here. Eric Bischoff just hates AEW. He just cannot stand AEW, and he can't stand Tony Khan. And every time he comes on his podcast, he's always bashing them. He never has nothing positive to say.
Never does. I can agree with you on that, definitely. And a lot of it comes from, I would say at least 40% of it is that Tony Khan doesn't listen to him in dealing with the TNT and TBS executives. Now, I'm not going to be a Bischoff apologist. I love listening to these guys talk shit about people all day. I don't think a lot of it's warranted sometimes, but like I say, he knows what happened in that TBS and that TNT building because he worked there. That's the only thing that I give him, and I think that he gets upset because Tony Khan won't listen to him when it comes to dealing with those people as far as how they run their TV show. But that constant bashing every week, I mean, I think, we know he does it for likes and clicks. Everybody can't wait for him. It's almost like waiting for Joe Budden to say something about Drake every week. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah, it's just become tiresome after a while. Because don't you, like my late grandmother, she always used to say, she always was wise because she came from Jamaica.
Mm-hmm.
She always used to say these wise things. But she always used to say to me when I was a kid, if you don't have nothing good to say, shut your pie hole.
I absolutely agree.
I mean, if you don't have nothing nice to say, then don't say nothing at all.
No, I agree. it. I agree, but and unfortunately, in the world of like, there's only like a few creators that sit inside of this bubble that we call wrestling that do this like every day and watch everything, and you know what I mean, like that actually will keep a positive thing and play along with the storylines versus having something to say to this to shit on it. You know what I'm saying? Excuse my language, but
Yeah.
to have
Yeah.
something to go against it, and it's like, you know, we know the guys that are out there that do it, and we know who the ones that get clicks about it, and you know, people go, they rush to go see the negative storylines. I'm not one of those
Right.
people as far as the what I do. I like to play along with it. I like to have fun with it. You know what I mean? Like, and I get it. You're gonna make it every league is gonna have their own, you know, their whatever stories they push. And as far as
Right.
working after working a show, there's another respect that I have for it as after I call commentary for it. So it's kind of like I have a whole nother respect of how they put this stuff together now. So it's like watching
Yeah,
that.
well,
on that end, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I agree with your assessment. Coach Ed, thank you so much for your thoughts and comments. Thank you, Coach Ed. Thank you. Um, so yeah, so on an entertainment level, what do you give that segment?
On an entertainment level, I give that a 9 out of 10. It almost it
Oh,
was almost there for me as far as just because I'm a huge Mercedes fan. Like
right.
I'm from LA. It's a little my Mercedes fandom is a little deeper. Like, you know what I mean? I know a lot of her family members too. You know what I'm saying? Like
Oh,
cousins and stuff like that. And you know what I mean? Because her last name is Renato. So I know a lot of them dads. I've opened for dads. You know what I'm saying? Like as far as rap music.
oh wow,
So yeah,
wow.
yeah, I come from music before this, and or I've always been a fan, but I also come from so like my intermixing with this and knowing some of the family members and stuff like that, like I know what I'm looking for from Mercedes. And like I say, she's almost there with AEW, getting it together. All the stuff that she's done before, the walkthroughs at All In, all that stuff was boring. Last night
Right.
was the first moment I felt like, all right, they look like they about to start cooking with her.
I
So
hope so because the thing is that when she was signed to AEW, I kind of was worried a little bit because I said to myself, when is she going to mix it up in the ring? When is she going to get her debut in the ring? And then when they said, "Oh, she's not wrestling until Double or Nothing," I was saying to myself, that's ludicrous.
yeah,
I mean, you're going to tell me you're going to put her off all those weeks up until the pay-per-view at the end of the month? Are you serious? I've never heard of that in my entire life. I've never heard of that. Usually, when somebody gets signed to a company, whether it's AEW or WWE, they're making their debut right then and there. They're getting their feet wet. They're getting their toes, putting that sand in that water.
yeah.
But not her at all. And I don't know if I agree with that.
One exception is the and this is what I don't want to happen because I agree with you on that. The one exception where you did have that, and she's going against Willow. It's not like she's going against a Willow that's like hasn't been wrestling. Willow's been putting in work, and the only other person that did this that we seen recently, we saw what happened with CM Punk on the other brand, and we seen what happened. He went in, he came in and went right back out. So I'm hoping that the same
Right.
does not happen to Mercedes and that she is getting her training in and whatever, you know what I mean? She's training with everybody and she's healed or she's cleared. I don't want to see her jump in the ring right as soon as she gets cleared the next day and then try to put on a match because then she'll end up in the same place as CM Punk because she's not ready. And Willow hits hard. So, and I don't want Willow to take it easy on her. I want, if Mercedes is going to go in there, I want her to be able to give us everything she has to show us why she's a CEO.
Right. I agree with that, and I won't accept anything less.
No.
In the match, I can't accept anything less. Okay. So Mia took on Anna Jay. The match was all right. The match was fine. The match was fine. The only thing that I'm kind of concerned with in both AEW and WWE, the women's division matches are Dullsville. They have no spark to them whatsoever. The crowd is dead each and every time we watch it on television.
Mhm.
And that is kind of concerning to me because if you don't respect the women's division, how am I supposed to invest my time in a women's match if you don't have any winning formula for me to get invested in? I don't know what your feeling on that, London, is, but I can't speak for you, but for myself personally,
Mhm.
if something needs to happen here. We need a spark. We need some kind of refresh here.
I agree. I mean, a lot of it has to do with the length of the matches and how long. You know, like Willow's match was 6 minutes when she beat Julia Hart. Like, you know what I'm saying, on Dynasty.
Right.
Like that wasn't long enough. I mean, I know that the second women's match went a bit longer with Tony Storm, but Tony Storm gets time to cook with her matches. So it's kind of like I'm all in on Tony Storm. Tony Storm is one of my favorite women wrestlers right now. Nia Jackson, Becky Lynch, they got a chance to cook on, you know what I mean? I think they main evented when they had their match together. So it's the length of the matches that they're getting to show that they can actually carry the, you know, the timing, and it's the placement too. Like if you place them after a high energy match, after, like, let's just say Ricochet and Logan Paul, and you place a match after that, you losing a lot of energy when you go into the women's match right after that. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So it's placement, it's it's placement in time. That's what I think about it. Like, you know what I mean? If I enjoy personally watching the women's matches in Ring of Honor a lot more than I do watching them on the other brands.
Right. Yeah, and I agree with your assessment because I mean, how can you invest in a 3 minute match? How could you invest in that? That to me shows no lack of respect or transparency or something is amiss here when you book these matches because you could have a women's match and it could be the most stellar match we could see on paper. But if you don't have enough time, like you just said, and you don't have the lack of focus on it, how are we supposed to invest in that? Then that would overshadow everything else because the match ends in too much too quickly.
Absolutely. Like for instance, like NXT. If I when I watch NXT, I get what I want out of women's matches. When I'm watching Ring of
Right.
Honor, I'm getting what I want out of these women matches. When I watch Athena, I'm getting absolutely what I want, unless she has to squash somebody for the week, which usually seldomly happens. But like on NXT, I get it. I'm learning all these women. You get a Sol Ruka, who's WWE Jack Cartwheel. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right,
it's,
right.
you know, and you're getting a Blair Davenport, you're getting a Tatum Paxley, you're getting I enjoy women's wrestling, but it's when they get to the main roster, it's like, all right, you get what, 2 matches per week, and then you get like 1 6 minute, you get like 2 6 minute matches. What am I getting? You know what I mean? Like even the women's, and then they don't have enough time with each other, and on top of it, I say this a lot, like in other live, you know what I mean, when I'm watching something or I'm live streaming, um you're pulling people, like AEW will pull people from ROH every week, right? As far as the women's matches, they'll pull somebody up from
Right.
ROH, and then they don't wrestle the women that are on the main roster that know each other. So now the women, when they wrestle on Ring of Honor, or even in WWE, when the women wrestle each other on NXT, they get to know each other. Then they go up to the main roster, and then there's the problem of trying to, you know what I mean, get that chemistry together, and the chemistry is the
Right.
issue. It's a big
Right.
chemistry issue when they're pulling people up. All right, we're just going to pull you up from here, and then they have to learn how to wrestle. It's a whole nother pace. Like we wrestle at a certain pace down here, but then we come up to the main roster and everything's a little bit more slower. You gotta, you know what I mean, make sure you're looking at the camera. It's kind of like why Bianca's, like, when she's wrestling people, hey, she's on time. Like you can see her calling
Right,
for
right,
them on
right.
time. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like it's one of those things, like, where they have to learn how to get used to each other on those rosters. If not, then we're gonna keep having the same problem over and over again.
Right. So what did you think of the Anna Jay match itself?
I really didn't think of it much at all. Like honestly, it was an afterthought. What is Anna Jay doing? Like she's on Ring of Honor. She's cool. I think Anna Jay can wrestle, but it's like that whole segment was like, all right, what's happening right now? You know what I'm saying? Like it
Right.
it didn't move me at all. Like, you know what I'm saying?
No, it didn't move me at all anyway. It was just uninspired. It
Yeah.
was just on an entertainment level, what do you give this match?
4 out of 10.
um,
Unfortunately, I'm giving it a 4 out of 10. Honestly, like it's
yeah.
I like I say, that's just being fair because they were out there and they were wrestling. But I mean, usually Anna Jay, I'll get a good match out of her. You know what I mean? Like she does
Right.
better. She does better work in Ring of Honor, honestly. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
since she's been down there.
I'm gonna go below sea level,
Oh
and
wow.
I'm gonna get. I'm going below sea level, ladies and gentlemen, and give this match a 2.
Okay.
Unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, this match gets a 2.
Dang it.
I was just not. I'm sorry, but I'm just not. I was just not a fan of it. I called the match, ladies and gentlemen. I was doing the match, ladies and gentlemen. If you ever want to go back and watch some of what I do, ladies and gentlemen, you can always go back on the Hardcore Sports Center and see what I do. But I just was just not. This just didn't do it for me. I'm sorry.
The fans don't.
Um,
I mean, you know, some fans know Mina, but like a lot of them don't. Like that's the problem. It's just like it's not the familiars. Like you know what I mean. Like you're wrestling somebody that's unfamiliar, or you're not bringing somebody up that should be on the main roster. Which I'm not going to keep saying that the thing that needs to be on the main roster on AEW.
right. What did you think about Chris Jericho's segment?
Chris Jarrett Slowpoke, as we call him over there, the vampire hangers on. Jarrett Slowpoke is what we call him because he keeps hanging on. I was waiting for him to rename himself again after he won the title, and now he's the Learning Tree. The last time he was
Right.
Ocho, I said I thought he was going to give himself something with the number 9, but he didn't. But now he's the Learning Tree, which means that if he's going to be a Learning Tree, there's going to be a stable to follow, like usual. And I'm burnt out on Jericho. Honestly, I think Jericho needs a break.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with the assessment. Well, thank you so much for your comment. And
You have to come back,
it,
Andrew. You got to do that when I'm live streaming the game. That's just because one of the guys from my channel.
hey Andrew, thank you so much for your comment. Thank you. So here's the thing with Jericho. He keeps reinventing himself.
Mhm.
And to me, it's just like somebody is trying to hang on to something he knows it's about to come to an end. Jericho knows that eventually he's going to have to turn around and say to himself, I can only do so much and I can only reinvent myself so much. So,
Let's see.
eventually he's going to have to come to that realization.
What's his age right now? Let me
Um,
see. I'm looking it up now while we here
yeah, I'm not sure how old Chris Jericho is.
because
Maybe 80? No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I mean, you know, he's starting to have that little body drop like Flair right now. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah. He's
you know,
not dropping it like it's hot. I'm
yeah, nah,
sorry. No.
I'm waiting. I think he needs to go sit with DDP, hit some of that DDP yoga, get himself back together again like he usually does. And then we may see Jericho move a little bit faster. But Jericho's 53. So
Yeah.
you know,
Okay.
I mean, you know what I mean? Like we're looking at guys that are almost 50 and 50 years old, like that are still putting in work. I mean, R-Truth is still moving around. He's moving around faster than Jericho. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
He could dance around Jericho's head.
easily. And so Jericho is as much as I grew up a Jericho fan from when he first came, when he used to hang on the, I mean, he still does it. When he used to hang on the gate and let the fans pat him on the back. I came from early WCW watching Jericho, and
Right.
yeah, Jericho is I mean, like right now, if he's going to be the learning tree, then stop wrestling and sit backstage where you need to sit and handle the back with the
Right.
younger guys.
Yeah, I mean, why don't they just turn Jericho into one of those coaches like they do at WWE? Why can't you work with that? Why can't you just do that? Don't get in the ring anymore. Don't get in the ring anymore. Don't get in the ring anymore. Don't cut no promo. Just go in there and work with the young guys. Polish them up a little bit if they're rusty on television. Show them exactly what they need to do and how to sell and everything else. That's something you can do, Jericho. That is something. Now, Big Bill came out and he talked about Jericho and he was singing Jericho's praises and he was going back and forth and he wants to learn from the learning tree. I'm like,
Here we
oh
go again.
gosh.
Here
I
we go
was
again
like,
with another.
oh man.
Yep, it's another. Like I said, it's another stable building situation where we have like the whatever it was, the Jericho Appreciation Society. Now we're gonna have Big Bill joining Jericho, and hopefully they don't come up with some goofy tag team name like he usually did, like when he just did with the Hook and sell a couple of T-shirts.
Maybe he'll call it Branches or Us. Anyway, like, he's the learning tree. He's the
The
learning
branches
tree.
of Jericho. These
Oh
are
my
the branches of Jericho. And they're gonna have the tree on a T-shirt, and it'll be him,
Oh
Big
my
Bill.
gosh. Oh my
Hopefully Ricky
gosh.
Starks has ran from around this because I don't want to see Ricky Starks anywhere near this faction that Jericho's building.
Or as I like to call him, Kraft.
Oh man,
Ricky Stark. I have a name. I have a name for Ricky Starks. I call him Kraft.
oh
Why
man.
I call him Kraft? Why I call him Kraft? I'll explain to you. You ever take a grilled cheese and melt it, and then the point of the cheese is like a triangle?
Mhm.
That's Ricky Stark's honker. That's his honker. His honker reminds me of Anyway, I digress.
Oh man,
uh,
Ricky's over in the dungeon training right now, man. I don't think Ricky could care less right now. Like as far as
exactly. I don't think
what's
so
going
either.
on in the
No,
company.
no, I don't think so. So Jericho segment on an entertainment level, what do you give it?
Jericho segment. I'm going to give Jericho's segment I'll give it a 2, just because of the simple fact that at least somebody came outside. It was Big Bill. Other than that, I'm not impressed. I don't want to see it. I'm not interested in seeing Jericho have another where he's doing the same thing over and over again. It's like it's like a record on repeat, like when you used to have the vinyls and he used to skip.
Right.
This is what's happening to Jericho right now, and it's like and it's a hostage situation. To me, this is a hostage situation to keep Hook in AEW.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna keep your title until you re-sign your contract.
Right. Exactly.
So,
Exactly.
I'm
I'm gonna give this segment a 1. The segment gets a 1 for me. It didn't do anything for me. Big Bill coming out and want to be a part of the learning tree and all of that. I'm like, really, are we gonna do this again? Are we gonna do? Okay. So that was it for me. What did you make of the Chuck Taylor segment?
That's another thing that's another one I don't care about either. The Chuck Taylor and I don't care anything about the Chuck Taylor, Orange Cassidy, and Trent Beretta friendship triangle at all. So
I'm doing. I'm not. I mean, here's the thing. They're building on this heel turn with Trent Beretta. Okay, Trent Beretta comes out and he attacks Orange Cassidy in the beginning. He asks Chuck Taylor where he belongs. Chuck Taylor says he belongs with Orange Cassidy. So now the two of them are going to have this parking lot brawl, and that's going to happen on Rampage on Saturday night. Yeah, am I interested in the match?
Didn't we
Not,
just have
not really.
we just had like a street fight like on was it yesterday? We had a street fight recently. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I'm tired of street
Uh,
fights. How many street fights
yeah.
are we gonna have on all brands?
We're gonna get another one. The segment was all right for what it was. Um, Again, like I said before, do I care about this brawl? No, I don't. I don't. Another parking lot brawl. Okay, so be it.
The only way this parking lot brawl will be good is if Big Show emerges from the last parking lot brawl. That I saw. Like if he just busts through like one of the cars or just out of the trash can or something, he's back.
Not anything is possible in wrestling. That's for sure. That's for dang sure.
Have a broken ship back there because that was the last time he wrestled was at on Jericho's Cruise, right? Just have like a busted ship back there. Tony Khan let him bust out of the ship and then you grab somebody by the throat and choke slam him, and I'll be happy.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. All right, so on an entertainment level, what do we give this? I don't.
Well, the Chuck Taylor segment too.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with a 0. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. This gets a 0 for me. I'm sorry because there is no entertainment value in this. I want to know where this is going, and if it went somewhere, then I would have raised up the entertainment level. But then it didn't go anywhere for me, and I was not enthralled by what they were doing. So therefore, you get the golden goose.
No, I understand. I'm trying to at least give him the pity stripper tip. You know what I'm saying? But I get it. Like it's just if none of this stuff is going anywhere, you don't need Trent Beretta to. They don't even need to have a feud. Now they're fighting over friends. It's kind of this whole thing. Their whole company is fighting over friends. Their whole company's been built off fighting over friends and hugs. You know what I'm saying? Like.
Right.
Tony Khan waits for his hug backstage from the wrestlers. Man, he waited for his hug. We'll get to it. I know we get into the whole Jack Perry thing, but
yeah, we're gonna get to that in a minute. But let's go to the Dynamite main event.
Okay.
It was Jon Moxley versus Will Powerhouse Hobbs. The match was fine. Let me ask you something. Do you think Jon Moxley's a whirling dervish?
I'm sorry?
Do you think Jon Moxley is a whirling dervish?
What is that? You got to explain.
Okay. I'm going to explain to you what I mean by whirling dervish. I mean, you don't know what you're getting in a Jon Moxley match. You really don't know what you're getting. Because Jon Moxley is vicious. He will come out there with tacks or a fork or something to do you in the match. You don't know what you're getting with Jon Moxley. But this match was great. Him and Powerhouse Hobbs, and of course Don Callis was on the commentary later with those glitter shoes. You know, like Mr. Wizard of Oz. There's no place like the locker room. There's no place like the locker room. But anyway, what did you think of the match, Leonard? What did you think of it?
I thought the match was okay for what it was. I mean, I expected it. The thing is that it's always bad when you know what's going to happen, when you know what the outcome is. I knew Hobbs wasn't going to take that win. Obviously, like that's the thing I hate about. Like the only thing I dislike about it, and I would love Powerhouse to have beaten him for at least a week, even if he came back. I understand Moxley's character because his character and everything that he does is movie based. So his character is Ricky. I always tell everybody his character is Ricky Vaughn from Major League. This is why he comes out to Wild Thing, while he comes through the crowd. If you remember any of those Major League movies, you know what I mean? Ricky Vaughn, Charlie Sheen's character used to come through he didn't come through the dugout. He used to come from behind the field. This is what Moxley does. So he comes with the torn jacket, it were like Ricky Vaughn did, and when he came
Right.
out to fight. So I get it. It's the Ohio Cleveland thing or whatever. So I mean, it was a great match. I like his new look a little bit. I'm glad he finally shaved his head, you know what I'm saying, and then cut the rest of the hair off. It's starting to grow on me a little bit as far as his look. I would like this, but I mean, like I say, I like Moxie. I'm a fan of the BCC. But again, the match was predictable because I knew that Hobbs wasn't going to win, and on top of it,
Right.
I hope he didn't get hurt for real in that match, which they said, he did get hurt. That's the main thing. When these guys
that's a shame.
when these guys don't, like I say, it comes to a thing of continuity. These guys barely get a chance to fight in the ring as much as they need to, and they start getting hurt. And here we go with another injury, and then they'll just put somebody else in there that doesn't make sense. We can't build on storylines of anything happening. I don't even understand why Moxley. Oh well, I guess I do with the fight between them and the Don Callis family. So you know what I mean. Danielson has had problems with Takeshita and Powerhouse Hobbs and them. So I get it, but I mean, it was too predictable in the end, and that's just the thing. I'm tired of the predictability. There was only one thing on that show that wasn't predictable.
Yeah, we're gonna discuss that in a minute. So the match was fine. The match was fine for what it was. Great chemistry, great nuance in the match. They both went back and forth with each other. They were like physical with one another. They were mixing it up. Moxley just absolutely did everything that he could to keep that title that he just won in Japan, and he retained it. He retained it over Powerhouse Hobbs. On an entertainment level, what do we give this match?
In entertainment level, I'm going to give it a 7. I was entertained.
All right.
I was entertained while I watched it. I did enjoy it up until the leg injury, which which seemed legit. And it ended shortly after that. I wish when they get injured like that, they would end it immediately, so that way they can get some medical attention. But I mean, I like Powerhouse Hobbs fighting through the end of the match. I definitely did enjoy it. It was, I wanted to see him. I love him being in the main event spot.
Yes, I agree. And AEW does owe him a receipt. They owe him a receipt. And I think it should be cashed in spades. I hope that the injury is not severe, and I hope that he recovers very quickly, and I hope he can get back in that ring because he deserves to be a champion at some point.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna give this match about a 9. The match gets a 9 for me, and it was great for what it was. I liked it. I like the power of Powerhouse Hobbs and Moxley. They work well together in the ring.
Mm-hmm.
No issue whatsoever. Moxley wins the match clean. I like clean finishes in match. I don't like shenanigans.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like shenanigans in matches. I don't like too many interference in the match. When you have too much interference, ladies and gentlemen, I've said this before and I'll say this over and over again, you ruin the ambiance of the match. You ruin the mystique of the match by keep throwing interference in every match and distracting finishes and everything like that. I don't like that in wrestling. It's too much. Once in a while is okay, but don't overdo it. We don't need all that. We don't need all that syrup on the pancake.
No. I got you. No, you don't. Don Callis, I like the way he still sat at ringside. I think the thing that caught my surprise is when he said, "You're not going to go check on your man." He said, "No, don't they have doctors for that?" I was like, "Oh, shit."
All right. All right, Don Callis. All right. So let's just talk about this face-to-face. Okay. All right. Jack Perry shows up in Daily's Place last night. All right. Now, let me just read you a quote that Jack Perry said after Tony Khan was injured. And by the way, Tony Khan is injured, ladies and gentlemen, and he's going to be on the shelf. Let me just dive into what Jack Perry said. He says that Tony Khan took 8 months off of his life by suspending him. He had nowhere to wrestle. He had no outlet, so he had to go to New Japan. So he's in New Japan for 8 solid months while he was being suspended. He comes back and he aligns himself with the Bucks, with the Elite, to help them win the tag team belts. Okay, so he interfered in the ladder match. We're gonna talk about that in a little while. Then he comes in the ring and he hugs Tony Khan, hits Tony Khan in the stomach. The Young Bucks gave Tony Khan a tombstone pile driver off the. Tony Khan's father comes in the ring and he is all apoplectic. Oh no! What did you make of this whole thing?
All right, I'm gonna be totally honest with you. I have been asking for Jack Perry to return, right, for a while. On streams, I couldn't wait for him to come back. Not that I was let's say I was a Jungle Boy. I was a Jurassic Express fan, right? I remember when the fans used to cheer the Jurassic Express, and I'm like, all right. And then when Jack Perry went solo before the whole CM Punk shenanigans thing, right? I was like, okay, nobody understood where he was going, and I'm like, oh, he's turning into his dad with the limo thing. He's trying to be his father. I'm like, all right, he wants to be. I'm looking at the leather jacket. I'm like, that's a Dylan McKay jacket, right? I'm like, all right, I get it.
Right.
So I'm putting it together as like, I'm one of these dudes. I watched a lot of TV growing up, and then on top of it, it's like, all right, this is his son. I'm like, I'm putting it together. I'm like, all right, cool. I get it. I like goofy shit in wrestling. I'm sorry, excuse my language. I like goofy stuff in wrestling sometimes. You kind of need it because to keep the whole carnival thing going from wrestling. And I'm like, all right, I like it. Then he does the spot, blah, blah, blah. But then he comes back. I'm like, why do you need a mask? We know it's you at Dynasty, right? To help them win the title. We know it's you that's going to help them. We already knew you were coming back.
Right.
Then last night shenanigans happened where him and Tony Khan hug. I was like, all right, if they're just going to hug it out and then that's it, I would have been upset. I think every fan wanted Tony Khan to get punched last night, right? Just the AEW haters, so to speak, the tribalists wanted to see that.
Those WWE shills.
The super WWE, like only fans, they wanted to see it. Me personally, I wanted to see it too, just because it's like, all right, how much stuff do we have to get shoveled that it's like you're not doing right? I understand like the dynamics of how he thinks and everything, but it was fun. He finally got his Vince McMahon moment, but I'm like, so Jack Perry's your Stone Cold, like, you know what I mean? Like that's where I was like, I kind of like, nah, that's kind of it doesn't work for me. You know what I'm saying? Like it that's where it didn't work for me. Now the whole EVP turning on him, I just think that it's a bit much. I think, you know what I mean? But I enjoyed the segment. Not to say I didn't enjoy the segment, but what does it do for you in the long run unless you're going to give up the reins and let somebody else run the company? If they're just you're gonna let the inmates continue to run the asylum, and now we don't know what we're getting, or you're gonna let somebody else write the stories. If you're gonna do that, and you're just gonna like sit back, and this is a way for you to write yourself off TV, then that's fine. But he didn't defend himself. He didn't do anything. You're trying to take the Vince McMahon role, but you kind of like didn't even try. Like, and then your dad jumps in the ring. It's kind of like Drake's dad coming to his defense when in this beef that he's in right now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to see it. Like, so it's a love-hate thing for the whole segment. Like, I enjoyed it, but I hate it at the same time. But we got great memes and great gifts out of it.
Right, and I agree with Ballet's assessment here. Tony Khan should have defended himself, and thank you so much, Ballet. Thank you so much for your comment. And don't forget to subscribe to the Hardcore Sports and my channel. We greatly appreciate it. And don't forget to subscribe to London Jew, and don't forget to subscribe to his channel as well. We're live on his channel, by the way, not just my channel, but also ladies and gentlemen. Um, Tony Khan should have defended himself in this situation. See, here's the thing: if I'm a boss of a wrestling organization and I know that I'm being set up, and I get in the ring and there's my wrestler, I'm up there, he spins me around and everything like that. I'm like, okay, now I know what's coming. This snake is about to do something that I need to counteract here. If I was Tony Khan, the minute he wanted to punch me in my stomach, I would have blocked that and I would have beat the snot out of Jack Perry. That's what I would have done. That's what I would have done before the Bucks came in there. Before the Bucks came in there, I would have turned on him. In a dime, I would have turned on him. But that's not what. Go ahead.
That would have gave credence to the fact that he can actually defend himself, and he wouldn't have been scared for his life with the whole CM Punk thing. So he couldn't.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, you see. I'll set the table and I'll put some good buffet out, but then all of a sudden we forgot the gravy and everything else that went with it. Right? So I kind of understand where you're going with that. I understand where you're going with that. Because we did see the security footage, ladies and gentlemen. And to me personally, he wasn't threatened. Nobody threatened him. He was at the table. The table moved. All he did was stand up and push them back. That's all he did. He didn't do anything. So he wasn't threatened like he claimed to be in the media scrum. So, but anyway, he was injured. They injured him, and now the question is, what repercussions is this going to have, and what ramifications are we going to get here?
We get Kenny Omega next week early. Hopefully, I know that he still has diverticulitis, but he'll be there next week, and I think he still has to have surgery, if I'm not mistaken. But
yes, he does.
So he'll be there for whatever, before he goes back home and finishes playing Street Fighter 6. We'll be able to see him maybe make some decisions on what happens, even though he's not an EVP right now. I think they're trying to make things right with him too, so they don't lose him, because he doesn't seem to be on the same page with them either. Plus, he was fired from the Elite, if we remember, and something has to happen. But I really don't know where they're going to go from this, besides if Tony Khan decides to take a step back. If he's going to decide to stop being Tyler Perry and writing everything, then that would be great. You know what I'm saying? I tell people all the time that he reminds me of Tyler Perry since he wants to write all the storylines. So if he's going to take a step back and let some other people come in and do some writing for him and to do that, I mean, you could pay for it, but I mean, I don't get it. Like I say, I have a love-hate relationship with this segment. The love I have for it was I wanted to see it. It's Crash TV. It's almost something Vince Russo would have booked in his day, but at the same time, and we got great, like I said, we got great gifts and memes out of it. The Papa Khan meme that we're getting right now that everybody's using for everything on Twitter is hilarious.
Right.
You know what I mean? But other than that, like, I don't know. Like, it's just the inmates running the asylum, and I guess that's where we're going next. We're going into uncharted territory for what's going to happen with the Young Bucks running everything, and Jack Perry now. I guess, did he get reinstated? Was that even said last night?
No, that was not. No, Tony Khan didn't say one word about the reinstatement. He didn't even have a microphone. He didn't have anything. He didn't say one word. He didn't say one word. Perry took control of the entire segment. And here's the thing that a lot of people are talking about. What if Tony Khan's father puts a call to Sting and names him the commissioner of AEW to clean up the Elite? Now that is something that could possibly happen. That could possibly happen.
Make him the Jack Tunney of AEW. I like it.
That,
You know
yeah,
what I'm saying? Like
I like it. I mean, that's good.
the Gorilla Monsoon. You need somebody that can do it, and I could see Sting just watching stuff from the rafters, and you just let him sit in the rafters, and if he has to come down
Right.
every now and again to bring order to what's
I
going
wouldn't
on.
mind him. I wouldn't mind the father next week in Ontario, Canada. Come on stage and introduce Sting as the new commissioner of AEW to punish the elite for what they did to Tony Khan. Now that could be a possibility. That's one possibility that could happen. I could see that happen, and I wouldn't have an issue with it. I
No,
wouldn't have an issue with it whatsoever because, as you all know, ladies and gentlemen, they do have a board of directors in AEW like WWE does. And they need to make that decision exactly who is going to step in and take over for Tony Khan's part. Um,
yeah,
we're gonna,
not alone. And Tony Khan wasn't the only person that didn't have a microphone either. Serena Deeb didn't either, and I didn't get to hear what she said during her when she cut her promo. So,
oh yes, Serena Deeb. If you want to know London, what she said, Serena Deeb says she didn't care who was in the locker room. She didn't care who was in front of her. She wants that AEW women's title. So I said last night on the stream, I said last night while we were doing the watch along last night, I said that is Tony Storm's next opponent at Double or Nothing. It's going to be Serena Deeb. I think that is the road. That is the road that they have, because I love me some Serena Deeb. I don't care what anyone says. I love Serena Deeb. She is a good wrestler. She came back after she had seizures and everything like that. She went through a lot of stuff medically. But she came back and she's coming back strong. And I don't have a problem with her I don't have a problem with her getting the title match.
I don't have a problem with her getting a title match, but I would have a problem if she won. I'm not the best presentation on AEW wrestling period right now is Timeless Tony Storm. This is
The cheese slides off her cracker.
man.
She
Listen,
is nuts.
the presentation, the split screen black and white,
Yeah.
the character. She's so
The creepy, the nuttiness, yeah.
Am I watching I Love Lucy in 2024? I'm getting everything that from the stuff when I used to have to sit at home when the black and white TV shows came on when we're out of school and it's spring break, and then I'm stuck watching I Love Lucy for 2 hours. Like I'm fine. I love Tony Storm's character so much. I'm getting everything I want out of that character. I'm entertained by her character. I don't see anyone like they need to give her the Roman Reigns treatment almost with her character right now until they can find some. The only person I see that's strong enough to beat her is Athena, and they're not going to do that. They're not going to pull the trigger on that. You know what I'm saying?
No.
Like, and I don't want to see Athena lose her title either. I would love to see her fight and end in a draw. Like, give me that. Like, but I do think that her and Serena Deeb would have a great match. I don't even see her losing it all in right now. You know what I mean? Like,
right, exactly.
Only one person. Go ahead.
Right, but yeah. So on an entertainment level, the Tony Khan segment for me got a 7.5.
Okay.
The segment was I mean, we knew what was going to happen. We knew exactly when they were talking about a face-to-face. We knew exactly what road when they were going to travel on. And to answer your question about the reason why Serena Deeb didn't have a microphone, they wanted her to speak into the camera. So if she had the microphone, it didn't make sense because the camera already has a microphone. So it didn't make sense for her to have double mic. To be, so
I don't know if the like when I was watching yesterday, it didn't have when I was watching yesterday, it didn't have any sound. I know in different areas,
Right.
what I understand, they have sound in certain areas or on certain platforms they'll have sound, and where you can hear everything, and then in some places you don't. Yeah, Ballet saying she couldn't hear. She said she didn't hear what Serena was saying either. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
so I understand it. Like, I know some of those cameras do have it. Like I say, I come from entertainment. I shoot myself. So, you know what I mean?
Right.
And so, yeah, like if they could at least gave her a live mic to put on, you know what I mean, before she came out and hit it. Like, it's small details like that. Like, I understand they wanted her to come and be personal. It's kind of like when, what's her name? I always forget. Thunder Rosa, when she's talking into the camera, or when Britt Baker used to talk into the camera. You don't get to hear exactly what they're saying. She'll be at ringside. She's tapping somebody out and got them, you know what I mean, in the mandible claw. You can't hear. But Serena Deeb, definitely, if you're going to come out and you're going to put emphasis on her, and we know that she wants the title, I want to hear what she's saying. Just as well as I would have loved to hear what Tony Khan would have had to say when it came to Jack Perry. But he didn't get to say anything.
No, he didn't get to say anything. I did, like I said, I'm here in New York City. So, when I look back at the footage of what Serena Deeb was, that's why I quoted her, because the microphone was on, and I did hear what she was saying. She wants that title shot. She wants that title shot. She wants that match with Tony Storm. That's what she wants, and that is exactly what she's looking for.
So the ranking system came back for no reason at all, then.
I
mean, Mercedes is walking right into Double or Nothing with a title shot. So, I mean, if Serena Deeb wants a title shot against Tony Storm, then I guess, you know what I mean? Like, just the inmates are running the asylum. It's like, all right, whoever is their favorite, whoever is his favorite at the moment, or I understand that it would make sense for that, but you would have to put these women on TV. I think one of the things that me and Tati have been saying for months is, okay, Rampage has a problem on Fridays. Why not every now and then, at least once or twice a month, book an all women's Rampage? So at least we can get some stories going for an hour.
Yeah, but the problem is that like we were mentioning earlier, the problem is that the women's division now, like I said, in both organizations, is very lackluster. It's very lackluster, and the thing is that if it's lackluster, it doesn't warrant for their own show. The women's division needs to be strong enough for a reward to happen. And in order for that reward to happen, you have to have better quality matches for the women's division, because we cannot, like I said before, we cannot invest in 3-minute matches. That is not a good look. You can't just go out there and wrestle. If you and I were in a wrestling match and they said, okay, we're going to wrestle for 3 minutes, that is not enough time for anybody to marinate on the story.
It's not. But we have the talent, though. We have Serena Deeb, we have Mariah May, who can absolutely go. We have Anna Jay, who can go. We have Deonna Purrazzo, who can go. We have Athena. We have Willow Nightingale. We have Chris Statlander. That's, what am I at now? 7. Who else? Riho can still go whenever she's there and in town, whenever Tony lets her fly in. And we have Hikaru Shida. So that's 9 that I just named right there that can cook, and all of them can go. Now, building a story with them, that's another story, being able to build a story with them.
Right.
Oh, and who else? Queen Aminata is on her way up. She's dope.
Yeah.
J-Rod from the Indies, who's just started to show up on Ring of Honor, definitely can go. I don't know if you've seen her in ROH at all. She was in the women's the TV tag tournament. I mean, the TV title tournament. I'm gonna
just because Tyra Valkyrie.
Yeah, Tyra Valkyrie.
Right.
They have
Deonna Purrazzo.
Yeah, you got Di Perazzo. Like they have enough. Like
Yeah,
and
they have enough talent. They
Mhm.
do.
So it's up to them to like, all right, well, can you push some of this other crap out of the way that we don't want to see, like
Right.
the BFF decision between Chuck Taylor and Orange Kid? Man, let the tropical as we call Orange Cassidy the tropical chief, since he does the Superman punch, move the tropical chief out of the way. Give him the week off. He's tired before we see him in more Kinesio tape. You know what I'm saying? It's plenty of time on in that 2 hours for these women to have longer matches. Like it's kind of a thing like this. Like every day at one, every day I play WWE 2K, right? And I downloaded, I download characters and put them in blah blah blah. But I play WWE 2K every day. It's to the point now. Back in the day, if you remember wrestling games, it wasn't very fun to use the women in the wrestling games because they all had the same moveset. Now women are way more advanced in what they can do in the ring. They're getting a lot more different teaching from a lot of different people. But if they just don't have the time to cook and get their stuff together, then what are we doing? Like, you're wasting everybody's time. Like the
Well,
Renegade.
that's what I did. Right. I'm sorry to cut you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Right. No. I'm sorry to cut you off. But I agree with your assessment. The thing is that I again, like I said before, I'll say it again. I'll preach to the choir. If you're only gonna give 3 minute matches, then why should I care? Why should I care? Why should I care? Because if you don't care, then why should I care?
Yeah.
That's my whole attitude.
When will he care? Like, I mean,
Right.
they cut bigger promos. This is their third go round on the promos of women's wrestling on Twitter, and they're, I mean, they all got band together and made the women's promo again, I mean, and talking to the IWC about the things that they don't like. It's like, yo, like, if they're going to do it, hey, at least use YouTube. Bring back Dark Elevation or something.
Right.
Like, I don't understand it. If you're not getting the time like that, if you got Daily's Place like that, use it to give us Dark Elevation or bring back AEW Dark. Find a deal just like WWE did to do Speed. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're Tony Khan, you can afford it.
Right.
And I'm not taking this thing of they're the small company no more. Like, you guys have more money than WWE. Stop it.
So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that was Dynamite. Ladies and gentlemen. Last night, it was a good show from Daily's Place. It was good. The face to face, the end to close Dynamite. We're gonna have to see the fallout of that next week on Dynamite. I'm quite sure there will be a huge fallout from that. All right, so we're gonna move over to this past Sunday night, ladies and gentlemen, at AEW Present Dynasty. Dynasty, ladies and gentlemen, took place in St. Louis, Missouri at the Shavitz Arena. And I'll tell you this much, ladies and gentlemen, the pay-per-view was fantastic. There was some stuff in that paper. It was all that potpourri of action, ladies and gentlemen, as I like to call it. The build for the pay-per-view was not the greatest I've ever seen on the planet, but what was produced was pretty good, I have to admit. All right. So let's talk about the 0 hour matches first.
Oh my God. Matt
Sydal took on Trent Beretta. The match was fine. The match was all right. The match was fine for what it was. Sydal, went toe to toe with Trent Beretta, but in the end, it was just too much Trent Beretta for him. What did you think of the match?
I enjoyed the match. I just wish it wasn't on 0 hour. I believe that. I guess we'll have to wait to get to it, but I mean, you could have traded that match and put it somewhere else on the card versus some of the matches that were on the card. You know what I'm saying? Like that belonged on 0 hour, and we know what match that we know what one of those matches are off top. And so,
yeah, we're gonna discuss that
when it gets there. But Yeah, I enjoyed the match. It actually made me more of a, in the especially in the last couple of days, in the last couple of matches, Matt Sydal has moved up as far as being a wrestler that I actually like am enjoying watching. Um,
Right.
in the ring, Trent Beretta. I think my issue with Trent right now is um I need him to turn. He needs to decide if he's going to go all the way in on his heel character. That's just my only problem. It was a great match, but I didn't expect him to like. I expected more viciousness out of him since he's heel now. That was my only issue with the match. Is like, bro, are you all the way heel? Like, you know what I'm saying? There's no viciousness. You're still doing the same thing you did when you were a good guy. You know what I'm saying? That's it.
Wait
When you're
until
a face.
Rampage. Wait until Rampage and that parking lot. I think you're going to see another side of Trent Barretta.
I hope so.
I hope so. Yeah, the match, like I said, the match was fine. The great chemistry, great nuance in the match. It was nice to see Matt Sydal's brother come down to the ring. I thought that was nice to see him.
Yeah.
He's been out of action for a while. It's good to see him back. Trent Beretta attacked him back after the match was over.
Mm-hmm.
On an entertainment level, London, what do you give this match?
I give it a 7 out of 10 on the entertainment level. It was still a good match, but I thought that, like I said, it lost those 3 points just because I'm ready to see him go without, no pun intended, all in on being a heel.
Right. Yeah, I'm gonna agree with your assessment. I'm gonna give this match. I'm gonna give it the same number. I'm gonna give it the same number. I want to see him like London said, I just want to see him go full blown heel.
Yes,
I want to see him get that dirty heel.
that's what
Because
I'm.
ladies, that's what I'm waiting for, ladies and gentlemen. Because as you all know, ladies and gentlemen, a full blown heel will win their matches by any means necessary. And when I mean anything necessary, I mean anything necessary.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Um, Orange Cassidy and Sabata took on Shane Taylor and Lee Moriarty. The match was fun. You know something? Let me tell you something. Shane Taylor, he is some wicked wrestler.
Yeah.
When he chops you, ladies and gentlemen, you can hear that all the way in section 105. So, I mean, that,
The nosebleeds.
I mean, my goodness, it sounds like a gunshot going off. It's just,
The
yeah,
poverty
you can
section.
hear it. Yeah, you can hear it. You can actually hear it in that section, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh,
That's
man.
how hard he hits. The match was physical. It was wild. It was everything that you could imagine and more. I enjoyed it. Shibata was great in the match with Orange Cassidy. He worked well with him. They went over in the match. What did you think of the match itself?
Oh, I love being able to see Shibata wrestle. I love you know what I mean. I thought the match was great. Again, another match that probably could have replaced the match instead of being on 0 Hour. I didn't think it deserved to be on 0 Hour. I thought that match was better than being on 0 Hour, but I wasn't mad at it being there and them giving some of the other talent more time at the top of the show. But I definitely enjoyed it as far as a good tag match. You know what I mean? The whole, I think that's where him and Orange passed, when Trent and Orange passed each other up. That
Right.
happened right before the match. That's where
Right.
that was the only thing I hated about the match before it started. It was like, all right, you're a heel, bro. Like, bump into him and walk to the back. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, hey, why you have to run past? Why are you scared to run past Orange Cassidy at all people? You're bigger than him at that. Like, what are you doing? So,
Right.
but again, he's the tropical chief. So, I mean, maybe he is.
The tropical chief. I like that.
What's going on, Farside?
Fourthside TV, how are you? Thank you so much. Please hit that like button and subscribe to our channel. We greatly appreciate it. Thank you. So, yeah, the match, like I said, the match was fine. The match was all right. On the entertainment level, what do you give this number?
I'll give it an 8 out of 10. I enjoyed it. You know what I mean? Anytime I get to see Shibata in the ring, like I'll never, you know what I mean? Like we're lucky to see him in the ring at that. I'm enjoying his character right now and what he's doing. Like it's funny, you know what I'm saying? The whole because he's using the phone thing too. So whenever he talks, that shit is comedy, like the translator using that.
Right.
So I'm enjoying it. Like I give it an 8 out of 10. I enjoyed it, even though it was on 0 hour.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it the same number. I'm gonna give it an 8. This match was fun.
Yeah.
I like fun tag team matches, especially if it's done booked correctly and you win the match clean, which they did. And it was fun for what it was. It was fun for what it was. I don't understand why everybody hates on Orange Cassidy, because Orange Cassidy, he can wrestle. The man goes out there and he gets banged up. He's like a Timex watch. The man takes a licking and he keeps on ticking. And he loves entertaining the audience. He is entertaining as heck. And I enjoy him. Every time he's in the ring, I enjoy either live or on TV. I love watching him.
I think the issue is that he's just overused. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and when anything happens, like, it's not that I don't hate Orange Cassidy at all. I like Orange Cassidy. I think Orange Cassidy's great. My problem is that he gets used way too much. Like he'll get used to 2 or 3 times a week. Tony's flying him with him on a jet. Like he it's like that Richard Pryor movie, The Toy. That's who he is to Tony Khan. It's like Tony. Like they'll be at a random soccer game and you'll see him sitting there depressed, Tony, and you know what I mean. And it will be Darby with him too. So I mean, you know, like we like him, but he's just overused. Give that man a vacation. Let him come back. I'm not over the whole you know what I mean. I'm not over his character. I understand it. I get it. It took me a while. He's everything else that everybody's not trying to do too much energy. You know what I mean? But yeah, he needs a break, man. That's all.
Well, here's the thing. When he was champion and he was the international champion, they had to put him on television because he had to become relevant. You have to have, when you are a champion, you have to be relevant on television so that the audience could be connected to you and everything else. They can invest in your championship. When you are not on television and you are a champion, you're making the belt irrelevant at that point. So you got to be prominent on TV. So that is why Tony Khan had him so much. But he wasn't always in the ring. He was always doing a backstage segment. As long as he was prominent on television, he was there. So I don't have an issue with that.
No, it's just, you know, like I say, it's when I see him and then he has his rib cage taped up with kinesio tape, or his neck or his arm or his shoulder and something like that, and he's not taking a break. Like, I respect the fact that he's still wrestling through all of the pain. But there was one week where I think he was on what was it? He went from Dynamite, I think, or it was I don't know if it was from Rampage to or it might have been from Collision or one of the shows. He went from one show to the next, and you could tell he wrestled earlier that night, and then he called that he had a tag match, and he was trying to tell Trent Beretta to get on the ropes, and then he's trying to climb the ropes himself, and he couldn't get up there. It's like this man. This man needs a break. Like, give him a break. Right. Let us breathe. Yeah. Let us miss. Like, I want to miss him a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like, before he comes back and then you know what I mean? Like, because at some point, I think he deserves to be champion.
Right. Farside TV. My channel is in the link below. In the description. You can find my link to my channel on the description below. Thank you so much. You mean the tropical chief of brain? Yes. So let's talk about this next match. the title for title. It was AEW Trios Champion, the Acclaim, versus the ROH Champion, the Bullet Club Gold. The match was fine. The match was fine to unify the titles. Um, Daddy Ass and the Acclaim raised over. The match was cute for what it was. Um, the Bullet Club went over in the match and unified the titles. What did you think of the match?
The match was fine. Max Caster took all the air out of it with his freestyle at the beginning of the match, which I kind of knew where the match was going, so it wasn't that surprising to me of where the match would have ended up.
Mhm.
My problem is I think a lot of our problem is that because we watch Ring of Honor too, so is that those titles won't show up on those titles won't show up on Ring of Honor. We won't see these guys wrestle on Ring of Honor at all. And then you know what I mean, if I don't know if the titles are like they said, they're calling them the Unified Trios Champions. But it's like, all right, are you guys going to show up to Ring of Honor this week? Like I haven't been able to watch Ring of Honor yet, so I don't know what happened. If they've fought,
Right.
I'll probably send the SOS over to the Tati's channel and ask did they show up, but I doubt it. So that's the only thing with me. But other than that, like the match was all right. It's you know what I mean, I wasn't really impressed with it. It was okay for what it was. It's always great to see Billy Gunn still wrestling. You know what I mean? I do enjoy the his sons, Austin and Colton as wrestlers. And I do enjoy the Acclaimed as wrestlers, but when I don't know, I just knew that they were pulling those titles off the Acclaim. And
Right.
so you know what I mean, I don't know where the Acclaim goes for here. They lost all their steam as far as being a tag team right now. Billy Gunn is still the draw. Like,
Right.
for that's just it. Billy Gunn is the draw. What do you do with them now? You know what I'm saying? Do you have Billy Gunn join the, you know what I mean? I don't know.
So
Jay White is, he needs to be solo again. I don't know. There's just too much going on with that whole group to me to really like keep me invested. The match was fine. It was still good wrestling, but it was just okay. So to me, it was, it's mid to me.
yeah, well, something. The thing is that I was kind of glad that they won the match because everybody keeps saying that Jake White is buried and AEW is burying him. He's not buried. He's
No,
not buried.
he's
And
stuck.
I don't know, and I don't understand why you all keep hanging your hat on that. He's not buried. If he was buried, he wouldn't become a champion. If he was buried, he wouldn't be on television. If he was buried, they wouldn't even have him in a major storyline. They would have had him sinking in the lower, the mid card. That's when you call someone buried. But Jay White is not buried.
I don't think he's
He's not.
I don't think he's buried. I just think he's stuck in it's like being in a situationship in a relationship, right? Like he has to give the energy that he gives. He cares that he's in this trio with them. And a lot of the time he gives off the energy that he doesn't care about being in that group. There's sometimes
Right.
it seems like he cares, and then there's other times that he seems like he can care less that he's in the group with them. Now, being double champion, he'll wrestle solo with one of the titles. I'm pretty sure he'll come out with both titles solo. Like, give him the international title. Let him go solo and do the international thing. Like, and they can still be a faction. You know what I'm saying? I thought that they were going to be a faction with him leading the faction, running with titles. I'm with that. I'm with them even carrying the tag team titles again. But it just seems like he doesn't really like. I don't know where his energy is. It seems like he cares some weeks and then some weeks he doesn't. That's the reason why I think a lot of people say that. And there's actual trios that really want to carry those titles. You know what I'm saying? The who was it? Top Flight wants to carry those titles. You know what I'm saying? Like I would love to see Top Flight carry those titles. There's there's plenty of trios that really want to carry those titles besides just them sitting on you know what I mean, either the Acclaimed or the Bang Bang Gang. And so, you know what I mean, I want him to care about it. If you're going to carry the trios titles, just care about them more. Act like you want to be inside of the stable with those guys and really push for it and have some really compelling matches. The match they've been stuck in this. Then they like all of the then when they had the whole 6-man and they were all joined together with the Acclaimed, it's like, all right, now now you guys are having 6-man tags against another 6-man tag and the titles aren't on the line. Like they have to do something interesting. Now you have all of the trios titles. What happens next? Now you're in the same predicament WWE was in when the Usos carried both titles and then Judgment Day carried them for a whole year and we couldn't wait to see them split. Now the titles are split. You know what I'm saying? Where you guys are going to have a ladder match for the trios titles now? Like, I don't care what you do. Split the titles up, please. Bring the ROH titles back to Ring of Honor. I think that's one of my biggest issues as well. I would enjoy it if they won those trios titles and they were actually wrestling on Ring of Honor. Like I say, I love Ring of Honor. Like, you know what I mean? Like I watch it. Some weeks it's mid because you only get like you don't know if you're getting 45 minutes or 2 hours. That's what that'd be my problem. You never know what you're getting, and then we're paying for it every month. So it's like if it's coming out of my pocket and I'm watching it as an extra show, as an add-on, and I don't know how long it's going to run. That's just my only problem with it. But again, I just want Jay White to. I don't think he's buried. I just want him to care. That's all.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with the assessment, but the titles are going to get merged. They said that they are going to get merged, and I have a feeling that once they merge those titles, it will be defended both on Ring of Honor and AEW, and I believe that's the road that they will be traveled on at that point. So, okay, so the 0-hour matches, they were pretty decent. Now we're going to go to the main show.
Okay.
Let's go to the main show. All right, let's talk about this first match. For the Continental Championship, it was Pac versus Okada. The match was fine. The match was great for what it was. I love Okada and I love me some Pac. They can get it on in the ring. This was a great recipe for a banger of a match. The match was great. I loved it. Okada retained. He retained over Pac, but I'll tell you something. Pac gave him a run for his money. Ah, boy, he gave him a run for his money. So yeah, it was great. So, what did you make of the match? It's up on.
I loved it. I think it was a great return of form for Pac. I've been a fan since he was Neville over in WWE.
Right.
I hated the goofy cape and all of that other stuff, but like I really enjoyed him. I'm glad that he came back and he was able to do, pretty much everything that he was able to do beforehand before he got injured. Okada gave me everything that I expect from seeing Okada. Like I'm just now I didn't know the Rainmaker like that. I didn't watch New Japan. But since his entrance and his first match over in coming over to AEW, and just what is it? Just when his first night over there, what was it when he was like when him and Pac first got into it, and he's like he asked the Young Bucks, what's a bastard? You know what I'm saying? That was my moment of like, oh, I like this guy already. You know what I mean? So I definitely enjoyed the match. It was pure wrestling to me. Like I'm a technical wrestling guy, and I got to see a high flyer versus a technical. I love it. You know what I'm saying? I love to see the high flying from Pac. I love to see them how long they drew the match out. It had a good time limit on it. So the match was, I can't give that match enough praise as far as being on Dynasty that night. So
yeah, that was great. It was a catch can style kind of a match. It was physical. It was hard hitting. They both brought it to the table, and I loved it.
Absolutely.
I love that kind of wrestling. I grew up on that kind of wrestling where they give it effort and they give it its all, and you are compelled to watch, and it's a glue on the edge of your seat and see exactly where the story is going to go and where exactly everything will be mapped out for you in the match.
Hmm.
The match was great. This on an entertainment level, I'm going to give this a 9.
Yeah,
This is a 9.
yeah, that's where I was going. I gave it a 9 as well. You know what I mean? That I haven't seen just as far as a match, it was one of the high points of the whole pay-per-view to me. Definitely I expected it to be that as well. I expected nothing less just knowing looking at the matchup of who was wrestling. So definitely it was also a 9 for me as well.
All right. So the next match we're going to talk about is for the International Championship. It was Kyle O'Reilly versus Roderick Strong. Another match. Another match. These two men were in, well, if you all don't know this, ladies and gentlemen, they were a faction when they were in NXT.
Undisputed
Ladies and
era.
gentlemen, Undisputed Era. Well, that, ladies and gentlemen, that is no more. But these two men went in the ring, ladies and gentlemen, and they showed why they are the elite best in AEW. These two men went in the ring, ladies and gentlemen. This was great. This was another great match. Kyle O'Reilly and Roger Strong, they didn't quit on each other. None of these guys wanted to quit. None of these guys wanted to quit. Roderick did retain the title, but I'll tell you this much: this was great. This was a hard fought retainment. I'll tell you that much.
His
What
15
did you think?
backbreakers. He gave him about 15 backbreakers.
Right, exactly, exactly. He did. He did.
And you
Uh,
know what? It's I liked it because it was like he was really like, if your finisher is to damage the back of an opponent, like I enjoyed it. I would have loved to see some other damage being done to it, but I enjoyed him giving him 15 back. So,
right.
but I enjoyed it. I am a mark of the you know what I mean, like of the Undisputed Era. I knew going in that they know each other very well. I watched the Undisputed Era throughout their run in NXT when it was a black and gold NXT. I expected nothing less from any of them when it came on. I was hooked throughout the whole match. So yeah, like Roderick Strong, I expected him to retain. I knew Kyle O'Reilly wasn't ready just yet. Hopefully the feud continues, or he either joins them in the end and they can boot Warlow out of the group, or keeps fighting him until he's able to beat Roderick for that title.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with the assessment. Like I said, the match was great.
Yes.
The match was great. I was on the edge of my seat. There was one point in the match that I thought Roderick Strong was going to cough up that title to Kyle O'Reilly, but in the end, it was just too much. But one thing I did like about all of these matches, that some of these matches ended in clean finishes, which I just love because I grew up on clean matches. I grew up on wrestling. I grew up on clean matches. I don't mind interference once in a while, but then, like I said in the beginning of the stream, ladies and gentlemen, if you put too much syrup on the pancake, you ruin it.
Mm-hmm.
You ruin it for me, and I'm gonna get turned off. And I don't want to get turned off in a match. I really don't. I want to. If the match is going good, don't ruin it.
Yeah. I
You know.
I enjoyed it, man. Like that was another match that I expected. It was one of those technical match. I am a fan of technical wrestling. Um
Yes.
my favorite wrestler is Mr. Perfect. So
Right.
so anytime I can get anything close to being that when I watch it, then I'm going to be enjoying it. And that match gave me everything that I thought I would see. I mean, we've seen Roderick Strong versus Kyle O'Reilly 1,000 times, and I can keep watching it over and over again. When the Undisputed Era, when they broke up, and matches they had
Because
against each other.
because it makes you want to be curious and to see exactly what these guys are going to do in the ring, and what they're going to produce,
Yeah.
everything else. And again, like I said before, I mean, it was just physical.
Mhm.
These two guys just didn't quit.
Yeah.
They didn't want to quit, and I was like, well, who's going to blink first in this match? That's what I wanted to know. On an entertainment level, what do you give this match?
9 out of 10. I loved it.
Yep, another nine. Another nine, ladies and gentlemen. We're giving out nines tonight, ladies and gentlemen. That's it. That is. All right. So, okay, the TBS Championship, Willow Nightingale took on Julia Hart. The match was good for what it was. Willow Nightingale, you know something? I don't know. If you are not a fan of Willow Nightingale, why are you a wrestling fan? Why are you a wrestling fan? Because Willow Nightingale is nothing short of sensational. This woman comes out there and she wants to have fun. She is a ball of fun. She comes out there and she wants to entertain the audience. She puts in the work.
Yes.
She puts in the work. And her hard work was rewarded this past Sunday night when she won that championship against Julia Hart.
She gave us 6 minutes of 6 minutes. In those 6 minutes that we did get, she deserved to. She's overdue for holding a championship in AEW. She's worked her butt off since she's gotten signed to AEW. The way I always love how I love her intensity and how fast she can move around the ring, because it's like she's a powerhouse, but then she has speed too, and she's technical. She's like a technical powerhouse. Like, she can wrestle like and on any spectrum that you put her on. This is what like, and she wasn't even this good when she wrestled Mercedes. So this is why I worry for Mercedes fighting her when she does fight her. It's like, so, like, you know what I mean?
I'm gonna tell you this much. I'm gonna be just, I'm very disappointed by this because here's the thing: she's gonna take off Mercedes. Mercedes Moné's gonna win that title. She's gonna win the title at level, because there's no way that AEW is going to have Mercedes Moné lose her first title. I mean, her first match on the pay-per-view. So I just don't like the fact that Willow is going to be a transitional champion, and I'm not a fan of that. I'm not a fan of that at all.
I didn't like that joke. I mean, we'll get there. I'll go ahead.
Yeah. I'm just not a fan of being a transitional champion. You just won the title and now you're going to give it to Mercedes. But that's the only disappointing part that I that doesn't sit well with me.
Yeah.
But on the entertainment level, what do you give the match?
Entertainment level, I gave it a 7.5 out of 10. Julia put up a good fight. I enjoyed the fact that Willow won. Don't get me wrong, but 7 out of 10. It wasn't like this. It wasn't like she fought a Serena Deeb or an Athena or somebody like that. Like, Julia's gotten so much better. I love her presentation. Julia's presentation is better than her in-ring skill. So, you know what I mean? Like, I give it a 7, and it was only 6 minutes, so I give it a 7.5 out of 10.
Okay, I'm gonna go down the dial a little bit. I'm gonna give this match a 6.
Okay.
The match gets a 6. It was okay. You know me very well, but you're getting acclimated very quickly. It was okay for what it was. It was fine for what it was. Well, I want to see it again. No, it was fine for what it was. I mean, she did win the match. Like I said before, I'm a little disappointed that they're going to put Mercedes Moné against her, and she's gonna have to drop the strap. to Mercedes Moné, which is disappointing. But at the same time, Mercedes Moné is going to become the new TBS champion at Double or Nothing, and I think that's what they're going to go with. Um, okay. The AEW Women's Championship match. It was Thunder Rosa taking on Tony Storm. The match was fine. The only thing I didn't care for in the match, there was a little shenanigans in the match. The Butler and everybody else, and then she got kicked in the below the sea level, and Tony Storm retained the AEW Women's title. What did you think of the match?
I thought it. I mean, I'm a Tony Storm fan. Any way that she could retain, I was going to be happy with. Definitely didn't like. I don't think that she needed the shenanigans to win because Tony Storm is just that good and the character is that good. I thought when before the match when who was at a Collision the day before when they got into it when she rubbed the lipstick all over her face. I thought that was
that was on Dynamite.
Okay, on Dynamite when she did that, and then she played into it. I think she cut a promo. Was it that was the promo on Collision, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That right there let me know that she was going to win the match. And like I say, the more deeper she is in the character, and it seemed like she got darker when she did that. I would have, and she came out with the powdered, like her face was fully powdered, like you know what I'm saying? Like it's it's the extras that she does to make her character that much more entertaining.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, so I'm always entertained.
And more deranged.
Yeah, like it's she goes that it's like she's not leaving character, like she's staying in character until they do the commentary. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, until
the cheese slides off a cracker.
Man,
she's crazy.
She's crazy, but they didn't have to add the shenanigans in the match.
No,
it wasn't needed. She didn't have to be. I like Luther at ringside. I always love Luther, his facial expressions or when stuff happens in the ring. Who came? Oh, didn't what's her name come down? Deonna Purrazzo come down to the ring.
Yeah, Deonna Purrazzo. That's another thing. The virtuoso. Yeah, again, like I said, she went and she took on Mariah May, put her in the back, all that shenanigans in the match. Like I said, the match was fine for what it was. On an entertainment level, what do you give this match?
Oh man, I was entertained during the match. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. It definitely ran longer than the last match. But like that's entertaining. You asked me on an entertainment level. I was entertained. Now, on a wrestling on the standpoint of what all the stuff that happened, that's when I dock points of all the extra stuff that happened because they didn't need to do that. So then I have to dock it and take it down to a 6. So, you know what I mean? This isn't one of the best Tony Storm matches that I've seen in AEW or on any of the shows. I've seen her have better matches on Dynamite or Collision. You know what I'm saying? And frankly, I'm tired of the hip attack. So, you know what I'm saying? They give it to every wrestler, every woman wrestler is like they have to do a hip attack. So, unfortunately, then that's where I when I start seeing the same moves over and over get used and stuff like that, and just all the extras that they added to the match for no reason, I give it a 6 out of 10.
I'm going to go below sea level again, ladies and gentlemen. This match gets a 3. The match gets a 3. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry because of the shenanigans in the match and everything. Now, again, if the match ended clean and she didn't kick her where she kicked her, then I would have said, okay, fine. I bump it up a little bit. I'll give it a little bit of a bump. But because of all of that, I have to give it a 3.
Oh, man. You didn't like her getting kicked in the fupa.
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
Yanni kick. She got the Yanni. Oh man, yeah, man.
in the Sanjay Dutt, as I like to call it. She got kicked in the Sanjay Dutt.
Oh man. Yeah, it was.
Oh,
But
yeah.
I mean, it's a Tony Storm move. Like I say, like I like it. Hopefully she comes. I'm hoping to see that she films another movie after the win. You know what I mean? Hopefully they still stick with that unless they forgot about doing those. So
Right. Um. All right. Um. Let's see here. Okay. Let's talk about the ladder match. The ladder match, ladies and gentlemen, for the vacant AEW Tag Team titles. It was the Bucks taking on FTR. The match was fine. The match was going good until we had a man in a mask jump in the ring and push off Dax Harwood off the ladder, and he went flying. And who was the man behind the mask? Drum roll, please. It was Jack Perry. Thank you, London, for that visual aid.
oh yeah, no problem, man.
Yeah, this wasn't good. This was just something I don't understand something. You didn't need him to help you win the match. The match was going fine. The match was fine. They had the match in hand. I kind of knew the Bucks were going to win the match. It was kind of predictable at that point. You knew that they were going to win the match because they lost to Sting and Darby Allin in Sting's retirement match. So they had to reward them with something. And this was the something. This was the tag belt. And this was the ladder match. Yeah, they rewarded themselves. So, London, what did you think of the match itself?
I didn't really care for it. It was one of those matches. I think that I honestly think that we were getting food. I started getting food and everything else during this match. I watched it like I kind of it was one of the matches I glanced at, and I waited Jack Perry to show up because I knew he was coming. And then he showed up on some with the hoodie and the mask, and I'm like, okay, so they're doing the Uso thing. Or the bloodline thing with him, and he comes in with the mask, and it's like we don't need another guy with the mask in AEW. Everybody always has a mask. Takeshita has one. Adam Cole, who has been broken down for months, has one, and now Jack Perry shows up, Mr. Scapegoat himself, and shows up, and we expected him to help them win the titles. The EVPs then awarded themselves the titles. I was kind of like over it from before it started. I was tired. I'm tired of them and FTR. Honestly, I would, not to say that they're not great wrestlers in the ring. I'm just tired of this feud with them back and forth. There's way more tag teams that could have had that spot.
Right.
I would have enjoyed to see again Top Flight. I would have enjoyed to see the infantry. I would have enjoyed, you know what I mean? Like, I would have enjoyed to see Shane Taylor and Lee Moriarty in that spot. All right, there you go. Yeah, I would have enjoyed to see who else. There's plenty of other tag teams that could have been in that spot. I know that a couple of tag teams are hurt. I would have enjoyed to see the Righteous in that tag team spot. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, there's plenty of other tag teams that deserve to, like, and it's the 5-year turnover, like, already. Like, we're in year 5. You guys are veterans. Move those spots out of the way so that way these younger guys can come up there, and some of these guys that are, you know what I mean, probably that need to have the title for a while so they can show that they have something in them, and some gas in the tank. But I don't know. It was boring to me. Like, my score is probably going to be very low for this match, honestly, just because of everything that happened.
Yeah. Again, like I said, the match was going fine until Perry came into the party. And he helped them win the tag team belts. Okay. On an entertainment level, what do you give this ladder match?
I give it a bathroom break, so I'm going to give it like a 1. You know how usually the IWC says what they say about women's matches and the fake wrestling fans or that I call them that say like, oh, women's matches, that's my bathroom break. This match was our bathroom break. And it was our food. It was go get before the main event, go get food, make sure you eat. Like, I'm pretty sure we're on stream, like all pressing pause at some point, trying to do stuff like when this match was on. Because we live streamed it, and this was the match that we did it on. We was trying to get drinks and stuff like that. Everybody was moving around, trying to do other stuff during this match. We were not impressed with it. We didn't even care. Until
you know something. We hosted also Dynasty watch party. We didn't pause anything. We were intrigued about what was happening in the ring, but at the same time, we were disappointed about the shenanigans in the end. And we all came to a consensus here that the fix was in, and we kind of knew where this was going, and we kind of knew what the road that they were going to travel on.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so on an entertainment level, ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna be nice. I'm gonna be nice and give this a 3. The match gets a 3. It would have gotten a little bit more if we didn't get the shenanigans in the end. Perry, like London said, it wasn't needed. You didn't need him to come in the match. We all knew the Bucks were gonna win the match anyway. We all knew that because of their political power and all that kind of crap behind the scenes and who they are and everything else.
Yeah.
So the match gets a 3. And will I want to see it again? No, that's fine. That's
Absolutely
fine.
Not.
No, that's fine. That's okay. All right. Will Ospreay took on Bryan Danielson. This match was the match of the night for me. This was a banger. Danielson suffered a stinger in the match, ladies and gentlemen, at the end. He couldn't move. But in the end, him and Ospreay, the match was just flawless. It was just perfect. It was absolutely perfect. They tore the house down. Even the crowd in St. Louis loved it. This was great. This was great stuff on television. Great, compelling match. I loved it. What did you think of it, Lon?
They call Randy Savage and Ricky the Dragon Steamboat the greatest match of all time, right?
Mm-hmm.
If this match doesn't sit next to it, it's a 3rd. This match was probably one of the greatest. Like, I can admit, I've watched wrestling since I was 4 years old. This was one of the greatest wrestling matches I've ever seen, and I was so locked in. Everybody thought like I was falling asleep during the stream, and I'm sitting there like I'm just quiet because I really love technical matches. This match was absolutely phenomenal. I don't know if I'm still trying to figure out if Danielson was legit hurt or not because they didn't say.
He was.
He was?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, that was the only thing that if I had to dock anything from the match, it was that. And I'm tired. The match was it's still a 10. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm sorry, I'm going far away already. It's still a 10. It's still one of the greatest. It's the second greatest match of all time. And then now I have to go back and watch Randy Savage versus Ricky the Dragon Steamboat again, just to see where both of these matches rank against each other. But watching that, like that would be the only flaw of the match is what happened at the end is Danielson gets hurt of if anything is to be docked. I'm just tired of when Will Ospreay fights somebody gets injured. That's it.
Yeah, well, he didn't know that the doctors came in until after the match. He didn't know that Brian Danielson was hurt. He didn't know.
Yeah.
He turned around after he was, after his hand was raised. He turned around and looked and saw the doctors were coming into the ring, and you could tell Brian Danielson was hurt. You could see it. Um,
The reason
but
I'm
yeah,
sorry,
go
the
ahead.
reason I asked why if he was really hurt is because they showed him being like why would they film him being wheeled to the you know what I mean? Like they filmed it and made it storyline on and they showed it on
Yeah, no, I understand what you're saying.
the fire in his
Osprey
arm.
came.
Yeah.
Yeah, Osprey came into the medical room to check up on Danielson, and he wanted to say he was sorry for what happened in the match. Danielson did not want to hear it. He blamed Osprey for hurting him, and he asked Osprey to get out of the room. He told everybody he told the camera people, everybody, get out of here. And they did, and they, while the doctors worked on him. So that was the only reason why they had the cameras in the medical room.
Mm-hmm.
They were following Osprey because he wanted to get into the medical room to say, I'm sorry for what happened, but Danielson didn't want to hear it. He didn't want to hear it. Um, yeah, the match was a 10. The match was a 10 for me. And I agree with you what you said on that. I love that technical aspect of the match. I mean, these two men were methodical in what they were doing to each other in the match. Again, another clean finish in the match. Osprey wins the match. He goes over in the match. I loved it. Would I want to see it again? Absolutely. I would sit there and watch that again in a heartbeat.
Yes.
Um, my co-pilot and my co-host here, Sarah, she loved Will Ospreay. She is a huge fan of Will Ospreay. She loves him Ospreay. Um, yeah, so I mean, he was the match. The match was great, and he gets a 10 for me. Um, I'm sure you give it a 10 as well.
Yeah,
Uh,
absolutely. I would have gave it an 11 if it was rated higher. Honestly, like, and the thing is just what the only thing that I worry is that it seems like this is All In is built for Will Ospreay, and it's just going to be the summer of Swerve until All In.
right.
And I want to see Ospreay work a little bit harder and go through what Swerve went through to get that title as long as he's been there.
Right, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like they can go a different way. They can put enough opponents in front of him. I see you know what I mean? He has plenty of people to fight for the next year. I want to see Swerve hold on to that title longer. But I guess we're headed there next anyway. So, you know what I'm saying?
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, and we are up to the main event of Dynasty, ladies and gentlemen. It is for the AEW heavyweight title. It was Samoa Joe taking on Swerve Strickland. Now, here's the thing. The match was the build up to this match was absolutely great. I enjoyed the build to this match. I had thought that they were going to wait until Double or Nothing to have these two go at it. But other than that, Tony Khan decided that he wanted to put him in this match against Samoa Joe. As this match was great. Another banger. Another banger. Samoa Joe was relentless
Yes.
in this match. He was vicious in this match. He turned on that vicious switch, ladies and gentlemen, and he showed why he was the AEW title holder for nothing. He showed Swerve Strickland, but in the end, Swerve Strickland just overcame Joe, and he wins the title in dramatic fashion in front of everyone in St. Louis. And he became the first black champion in AEW history. And it was fantastic.
Yes.
And after the match, ladies and gentlemen, I was breathless just calling the match. It was absolutely, it took all my energy out, ladies and gentlemen. It was great. What did you thought of the match?
Okay. So I left with two feelings in the match, right?
Okay, go ahead. Go for it.
I thought the match was absolutely incredible.
Okay.
I thought the match. Firstly, I thought this match came a bit too early because it didn't have the build up and anticipation that I was ready for. We knew we wanted Swerve to win this title. This is a match where I wanted shenanigans. Now I know you don't like them. This is the one match where I wanted Adam Page to come out and interfere. This is the one time I wanted something to happen so that way we can push it, and that way the anticipation is there. Even if we got another triple threat with all three of them again at Double or Nothing, because it would have made sense, Double or Nothing with them all three of them there. But the next morning I woke up afterwards. I understood the assignment. I enjoyed it. Swerve absolutely deserved it. I wrote an article on this. I don't know. It was either earlier this year, and it was either earlier this year or late last year, where I had the two black champions, I think, in AEW and WWE who should be holding the titles right now that can carry the companies.
Right.
And Swerve can absolutely carry AEW. He has the crowd. He has everybody behind him. The thing that turned me off is that Samoa Joe became a transitional champion at this point. He only had the title for a very short time. Samoa Joe deserves way more than that. And if now that the FTC called off the non-complete clauses,
right.
If he gets on the phone and say I quit, I wouldn't be mad at him. I don't know if he will or not.
Right.
Like Samoa Joe didn't deserve to lose the title this fast, but I understand that you want to get this title on to Swerve for him to complete the cipher of what he's doing. So I left with a bit. It was a bittersweet victory. I enjoyed it because we get to see the first black AEW champion. Swerve absolutely deserves this. I've been a fan of Swerve since he was in NXT. The match he had against Carmelo Hayes, I always thought that those two would be each other's rivals going, into the future of WWE. Obviously, that wasn't in the cards. And Swerve worked his way from shit. I saw him fighting. I remember him in the match with Athena when him and Athena fought each other on the Indies. So I'm a super fan of Swerve. I enjoy Swerve. I enjoyed his ascension. I'm glad he didn't settle for the international title. I'm glad he went for the AEW championship. And if this is the time that he has to take it, he has to take it. The match itself was absolutely fantastic. Samoa Joe didn't make it easy on him. He earned this victory by beating Joe. And now at the end of the day, WWE's on the clock.
Yeah, well, something, I think WWE is kicking themselves because, when he was in WWE, Vince McMahon says that Swerve was not marketable. Well, how do you know if somebody's not marketable? How do you know if someone's not about it? How do you know that somebody's not marketable if you don't know how to hone in on the talent and know how to drive the vehicle? I knew when he came into AEW that Swerve was going to be something special. I already knew that when he first debuted in AEW. As far as Samoa Joe is concerned, he was champion since December the 30th. He had that championship since the 30th. And again, like I said before, I'll say it again, he was a champion. He was a good champion up until that point. But I kind of knew that dynasty, Swerve was going to get his moment in the sun, and he was going to get that title. And the WWE, like I said, are kicking themselves because he is marketable. He is a champion. He is championship worthy. And I knew, yes, I wish they would have built it up to Double or Nothing and had him win the belt there. But other than that, I'm satisfied with what we were given. I'm satisfied that he defeated Joe in a clean way and he won the title, just like Cody did. Yeah. Just like Cody did when he won his title at WrestleMania. He won it clean. He won it clean. and their stories and their championship stories are just beginning. So I'm happy with what we got at Sunday night. And on the entertainment of this match is a 10. This is a 10 across for me. I'm not gonna. I wish I could go up to 100, but I can't. But this match is a 10. This match was a 10.
It was
It was great.
the night of, to me, it was a 7.5, and then the next morning when I woke up, it was a 10. And by that time, because I know how I am. The way it's kind of the way that what I do is like on my website when I do stuff, which I need to update anyway. I make artwork, right? I make magazine covers because I grew up in the WWF magazine era, the Pro Wrestling Illustrated, and
Right.
you know what I
Yes.
mean.
So did I.
There's a whole story behind that, but and also the double XLs, the sources. So I kind of model my like covers like that when I make them. I have to show them to you guys one day. And so I make my covers, and I made one with him and Willow winning, and that's what made it even more special is that we got 2 black champions on the same night in AEW, and they raised the bar for me. And when I say WWE is on the clock, there's one more person on the cover that I did when I put Swerve on the cover standing next to him, and that's Montez Ford. WWE's on the clock with Montez. So I'm looking at it though, like, and I love, and I'm happy Swerve is champion now. I respect them for making him champion, and I think he can hold the company down. And I'm hoping that he holds that title. I would love to see him beat Will Ospreay at All In. I would love to see that happen. Will it happen? Will Tony Khan let that happen? I think Swerve can beat Will Ospreay. I would love to see them just the feud leading up to it. I hope they give it a good feud. I hope they give it a good run. I want to see some good storytelling leading into the eventual. We know that that's going to be that's the match that everybody's looking forward to.
Yeah, I agree. And if I was the booker, I would pull that trigger. Trust and believe me, I would pull that trigger. Um, yeah, this main event was just it was just good. You know, I've been a fan of wrestling, ladies and gentlemen, for 3 decades,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll tell you this much, ladies and gentlemen, I love wrestling. I love wrestling matches like this. It makes my heart grow fonder as a wrestling fan because it just shows exactly what wrestling and pro wrestling is all about. And when you see stuff like this, poetic justice, and you see the right person go and get that to that pay window, it's great. It's great. It makes me smile from ear to ear because at the end of the day, when the job is done and we're all done and we talked about it and we analyzed it and we broke it down for you, it makes us feel good on this side to know that we saw something that we will always talk about in our lifetime. You know, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, so far, ladies and gentlemen, 2024, we have seen some amazing things in wrestling. I mean, from WrestleMania 40 all the way up to Swerve getting the title, Cody Rhodes finishing his story. I mean, we just the Sting's last match. I mean, there is so many iconic moments so far in wrestling in this year that we will never, ever, ever forget. That we will be talking about it to our friends' children, our grandmothers, our mothers, our friends, everybody who is a wrestling fan will be talking about these moments in time and history. And I am glad that I have was part of all of it
Man,
because it is a testament. It is a testament of what wrestling is all about.
absolutely.
History, witnessing, and of course, ladies and gentlemen, giving us compelling and thought provoking television.
It,
And
even even it's still going. Like
yes,
I haven't Trick Williams beating Eli Dragunov.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like this week has been great. I don't know if they're just making if from Dynasty through Tuesday they're making up for Black History Month for all of the losses until now, but but I'm enjoying I'm still enjoying it. April has been an absolute month for wrestling. Period.
It has been. I mean, this, like I said before, ladies and gentlemen, I mean, we began in March with Sting's final performance. Then we staked our way down, ladies and gentlemen, and we made our way down to WrestleMania 40 and how historic that was, and how fantastic that was. I was glad to be in Philadelphia, ladies and gentlemen, to witness WrestleMania 40. Absolutely one of the greatest things I've ever seen. We'll never forget that.
Hmm.
Then we move over, ladies and gentlemen, Cody Rhodes finishing his story to Swerve Strickland now becoming a champion in AEW. I mean, these are moments in time, ladies and like I said, we will never, ever, ever forget. Never forget it.
No.
Nobody can ever take anything from us and say you weren't there or you never saw it yes, we did. Yes, we did. And we got the receipts, as the kids would say in the streets.
Yes.
We got receipts.
Absolutely.
Ladies and gentlemen. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to do it for the Wrestling Experience. Women, thank you so much for coming on the Wrestling Experience. And again, welcome to the Hardcore Sports.
Thank you.
Yeah, you and Tatiana are killing it. You guys are great together. I love seeing your stream. I always watch, and I wish you all the best of luck on the Hardcore Sports. You're killing it. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep thriving. Keep striving and everything. You guys are going to do great. Again, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank Hunter for his time and energy. I want to thank everyone in the chat for your time and energy. Thank you so much. I'm going to be back in just 24 hours, ladies and gentlemen, because we got Friday Night SmackDown and the WWE Draft begins. And we're going to have that watch along on tomorrow night. It'll be me, it'll be Nick, and Denise. We'll all bring you Friday Night SmackDown here on the Hardcore Sports Network and all networks in between. So join us at 7:50 Eastern Daylight Standard Time, and we're going to bring you Friday Night SmackDown. Again, London, thank you so much for your time and energy. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you for filling in for Sarah. And Sarah, I know you're watching at home. Get better soon. I hope that your strep throat is all cleared up and you get well and you come back to us very soon. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you again for your time, your energy, and thank you for watching the Wrestling Experience. I will be back next week with another edition of the Wrestling Experience. Until then, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching here on the Hardcore Sports. And good night, everyone, and I'll see you tomorrow night.
Now with the hottest show in the universe, the Wrestling Experience, with your host, Joe Cole.
Acknowledge me.
Coming at you with all the dope shit, freshest WWE content, and also the AEW. You are now watching The Experience, the Wrestling Experience. Now with your host, Joe Cole.